Hello everyone, it's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad, video number 329. Today I want to talk about leaders and the impact that leaders can have in our world, not only the whole world, but even in our own communities. I recently had a discussion with a lady who lives in South Africa in Cape Town, and she was telling me how some of the challenges are in South Africa now. Now, I lived there from 1963 to 1985, so I'm very familiar with what it was like in those days. But she's telling me that electricity has become a problem, which has been in the news. Often some of the power plants can't produce enough power anymore. And also, water has been a problem. I know, particularly in Cape Town, that's been in the news. But also, the trains aren't running very much anymore. Sometimes people are stealing the tracks for the steel to sell it for scrap metal. And so the trains are, so these are the challenges. And I came around the discussion about how leaders can make a big difference. I often speak about the Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, the impact he had on that country from the time the Second World War. It was terrible until now. It's one of the best countries and places to live in the world. And it brought back the memory of when I was there, what happened in what was called Bechuanaland in 1966. While I was there, it became independent. And one man by the name of Sir Seretse Khama is the leader, and he had a major impact. I mean, when he took it over or became the president in 1966, it was known as one of the 10 poorest countries in the world. And in the next few decades, it had the fastest growing economy of any country in the world, faster than China, Japan, even Singapore. And why? One man made a big difference on what they did with how they ran that country. I remember hearing stories about it. And now, if you're interested, I found a short video, about 10 minutes. I'll put a link, and it tells you a lot about what Sir Seretse Khama did there. So I will share my screen and show you where Botswana is. As I said, there's South Africa down here, and then Botswana in between Zimbabwe and Namibia. And Botswana, I remember in 2012, I went to the Okavango Delta. Now, it's a fascinating place. But, and I think I had a short trip once to Gaborone just for a day. And this is a picture of Sir Seretse Khama when he was younger in front of the flag of Botswana. Now, the big challenge he had was in 1945, he went to England and he was studying law, where he met his future wife. Her name was Ruth Williams, and that's his wife and a couple of his children. Now, that caused a big uproar because Seretse Khama was the heir to the kingship of the Bangwato tribe, which is in Bechuanaland. And it caused an uproar in, well, like in England and also in South Africa, that a black man had married a white woman. And he was, in fact, it caused so much chaos that they weren't allowed in Bechuanaland for many years. But in 1956, I believe, he went back and he started a political party. And when the country became independent in 1966, he was voted the president of Botswana. And he had a very positive impact on it. So there's a picture of him and some of his children. And this was a note that I found on the internet. They exiled the king for marrying a white woman. He came back and turned one of the poorest countries on earth into Africa's richest success story. And we don't hear much about him, but he is an amazing story. Now, it just makes me think of what impact one person can have. And it's not only leaders of different countries like Botswana and Singapore, but it can also be a coach. My favorite coach that I use as an example is John Wooden, who is a basketball coach for UCLA in California. What he did for his team was amazing. And it wasn't all about win, win, win. It was about making his team members the best they can be as human beings. And another example is a school teacher. The one that I really who resonates with me is Erin Grunwell. And if you ever look up freedom writers, there was a movie made about her. Fascinating story, the impact she had on children who had been written off. That was impossible. They were just, you know, delinquents. And yet she turned it around. And to this day, she's involved in the Freedom Writers, I think, Foundation, it's called. So Erin Grunwald is an example of a teacher who has had a very positive impact in her part of the world. And it can be coaches, it can be teachers, it can be just someone in your neighborhood, in your community who can have an impact. And I know some people here in Victoria, I would say, are having a very positive impact on what goes on Vancouver Island here. So those are the sort of things that this discussion I had with the lady from Cape Town really brought back memories of what one person can have, not only in the country, but in our own communities. So with that, I will put a link actually in the description for a short video about Sir Seretse Khama. If you're interested, it's about 10 minutes long. It'll be in the description of this video. So with that, I'll say adios, au revoir, wishing you, your family, and friends lots of love and laughter, and hopefully some good leadership. Until next time, bye for now from Fred and Notes of a Nomad.